Hello everyone, my name is Natalia and this is my YouTube channel Sigil the Explorer. Today I'm going to make another reaction video, and that will be the video from Geography Now about Antigua and Barbuda. Some of you may know that I visited the country not so long ago, like 2 weeks ago. So I decided to learn some information about the country, and well, Geography Now is one of the best sources for that. Oh, by the way, the pronunciation of the country's name is, well, a lot of people, when I was there, pronounced the first part of the country, meaning the one of the island, which is Antigua, and the majority of people pronounce it Antigua, and I don't know which one is correct. Maybe they are both accepted, I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people pronounce Antigua and Barbuda. Okay, so let's just dive into this video.
Antigua don't, my Antigua don't want none unless you got Barbuda, son. Yeah, my first pop culture reference. I promise I'll never do that again.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Paul Barbato. Today we're gonna do Antigua and Barbuda. I'm a little excited because this country's a little bit easier, but first, you know the drill, let's dissect the flag.
I know something about this flag. I visited a tour in Antigua, and yeah, they said what the flag means. So it was introduced, okay, in 1967, as far as I remember. And yeah, actually it has symbolism, a lot of symbolism there in this flag. So there will be the sun and the hope for a better future. But yeah, let's just...
The flag of Antigua and Barbuda is actually pretty cool. It was created in 1967 by Sir Reginald Samuel. The flag has a sun with a blue and white horizon covered by two red tapered triangles on the side. The sun representing the dawning of a new era, the black representing the black African ancestry of the people, the blue representing hope and the sea, and the white representing the sand. The red on the sides are cut down into a V shape to represent victory, and the red representing the vibrancy and the energy of the people. Now let's talk about where Antigua and Barbuda are located.
in the Caribbean.
Antigua and Barbuda are located in the Caribbean Sea in the North American continent on the Western Hemisphere. The cool thing about Antigua and Barbuda's location is that even though it's located thousands of kilometers away from mainland Europe, technically you can still fly to France, England, and the Netherlands within a 30 to an hour-minute flight. That's because with the exception of St. Kitts and Nevis, all of Antigua and Barbuda's immediate neighbor nations and islands are overseas territories that still belong to the respective European mother nations. That means that technically you can go to Europe without ever crossing the Atlantic. Islands such as St. Eustatius and Saba for the Netherlands, and Montserrat, Anguilla for the UK, and Guadeloupe for France, and St. Martin, which is technically owned by both the Netherlands and France. That one little crazy island has such a crazy backstory, but we'll cover that in another video. That's not a surprise though. For most of the 5 centuries of its past history, most of the islands in the Caribbean were occupied by European powers, including Antigua and Barbuda, who have been under mostly British rule for the majority of their recent history.
That is until 1980.
And, oh yeah, 1981 when they gained their independence, yeah. And there are a lot of forts in Antigua. I'm not sure about Barbuda, but in Antigua there are a lot of forts built by the British to, well, to defend the territory. I visited 2 of the forts, and one of those, Fort James, I think it was called, it doesn't look very touristy, meaning that the site is mainly neglected, but there are still cannons there. So it's still worth a visit, I would say. Anyway.
When they gained their independence.
The country has two main islands, of course, Antigua, the main island in the south, and Barbuda, the relaxing getaway island, which is in the shape of a pig in the north. The capital is St. John's, located on Antigua. Antigua is divided into 6 small parishes, and Redondo Island was nabbed by Antigua and Barbuda as it lies right in between St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. Also, going to Barbuda is going to be a little bit trickier. All travelers will have to enter into Antigua first and then either charter a flight and take a ferry to Barbuda.
Yeah, I can tell you a story how I went to Barbuda. So yeah, it's correct that you cannot fly from Europe to Barbuda. You need to go to Antigua first because that's where the international airport is, and then either take a boat or take a flight, or you can fly there by helicopter, as far as I know, to Barbuda, I mean. But flying by helicopter is very expensive. I heard it's one way $700. Just one way, so one way and back it will be $3,400. Then back, it's a lot. Flights are less expensive, but I'm not sure how much. I don't know. I didn't check this. So I went there by a ferry, although I wouldn't call that, well, it's not small, but medium size. It was a boat, and the waves were very, well, wavy, yeah. I think they were more than 2 meters high, and our captain actually warned us before we went. He warned us that, well, yeah, the waves are pretty rocky today, so you will be, yeah, but don't worry, we are doing that. We do that every day, so we know what we are doing. When he said that, I was like, okay, well, I'm fine. I'm usually not motion sick, so I don't have motion sickness, which is great. But I thought, well, how bad that can be. But honestly, I was scared. It was like that, it was scary. I haven't experienced such waves, never. I hope that the captain was saying the truth, was telling the truth, and they do that every day, and they do know what they are doing. If I ever decide to go back there and to go to Barbuda, I would take an air option. Never. I don't want to go there by boat ever again. Okay.
Now that we know the location, let's talk about what the land actually looks like. The islands are mostly low-lying islands, the highest point being on Antigua, a volcanic crater named Mount Obama. That's right, in 2009 they named their highest point Mount Obama, even though prior to 2009 Obama had never been to that island, and as of 2014 he has yet to have gone to Antigua. Nonetheless, they named their highest point Mount Obama. Now both of the islands...
Yeah, and previously, although right now the previous name of the mountain, yeah, I forgot it. I will check it out again and write a comment how the mountain was named before that.
Islands have lots.
Yeah, and my point was that some people still call the mountain by its original name, but not Mount Obama.
Lots of beautiful coral reefs and natural lagoons, which have an abundance of aquatic wildlife, one of the most famous spots being Stingray City on Antigua. However, the problem is that both of the islands...
True, I haven't visited that Stingray sanctuary, maybe. Yeah, so, but there is a tourist attraction, so people are invited to swim with stingrays.
Don't really have many natural freshwater resources. They have a few creeks, however most of their freshwater is stored up in small ponds or reservoirs. Luckily, the islands get plenty of rainwater, and their desalination plants provide them with fresh water as well.
Yeah, that is true. They don't have fresh water, basically. They don't have any rivers. Well, I haven't experienced any shortage of water, but the smell of water was a little bit, well, it wasn't stinky, no, it was fine, but I honestly couldn't drink such water. Maybe because I am used to different, I'm used to the water which does not have any smell. But I read somewhere that some hotels may have signs for their guests to use water, of course, no problem. It's not like, okay, do not use water today. No, it's not like this, but they do have signs for people to, well, at least use the water, reasonably. They encourage people not to waste it. Yeah.
Well, previously the islands used to have a lot of fig trees. However, over the years, especially during British colonization, the islands were used for sugarcane plantations. Now major crops include Saw Island cotton, locust fruit, and the famous Antiguan black pineapple. The thing is though,
and this pineapple is considered to be a national fruit. I haven't found it. I didn't try it. This pineapple. Maybe I'm wrong, but this pineapple is pictured on their coat of arms. But I may be wrong here.
About 30% of the land is arable, but only about 18% of the land is used for farming and agriculture. The reason why is because most of the people in Antigua and Barbuda don't really care too much to go into the agriculture sector, and they like to go into the tourism sector because it pays more money. Most major crops are actually grown on family plots and sold at local markets. Fishing actually takes up a huge part of the economic industry, as well as the typical Antigua and Barbudan diet. Now, of course, like you would expect, Antigua and Barbuda have beautiful, pristine, white sandy beaches and lagoons and caves, as well as an amazing bird sanctuary on Barbuda. Antigua...
and the birds are called Frigate, I think that's the pronunciation. So Frigate Bird Sanctuary. So it's located in Barbuda. And the birds are very unique. I mean, I'm not an ornithologist. I'm not a specialist in birds, but I was really impressed by the birds. So they have a distinct red thing on, I don't know what's the name for this in English. So on their necks, so male frigates have red things. So during the mating season, so males are just sitting on the bushes there, waiting for a female to come and choose them. So I was starting to say, so these birds were one of the main reasons why I went to Barbuda. But when I was going to Barbuda, I was thinking, oh my goodness, these birds have got to be really good. I mean, because of the waves, I was so scared that I honestly, when during this trip, I was thinking that, you know what, I don't want any birds, I don't want anything, just take me home, please. Anyway.
Actually has about 30 small islets, mostly privately owned by rich families or private clubs, including the Mills Reef Club, which owns all of Green Island. Speaking of rich people, let's talk about the demographics. Now, Antigua and Barbuda has about 86,000 people. About 91% of them are black, 4% are mixed, 2% are white, and 3% are other. Antiguans and Barbudans have a distinct culture that slightly differentiates them from the other Caribbean nations. The majority of the population, like other Caribbean islands, has a black majority that are descendants of former slaves used for plantation work during the British rule. Prior to the African and European inhabitants, however, Antigua and Barbuda were inhabited by the Siboney and the Arawaks and the Caribs. It wasn't until Christopher Columbus passed by in the 15th century and named one of the islands Santa Maria la Antigua, or Saint Maria the Ancient, and Barbuda, which means the bearded, which could possibly be reference to the bearded tribesmen that Columbus witnessed as he passed through the islands. Finally, in 1632, the British were the first people to successfully colonize the islands, and today the Amerindian population is actually pretty small. There's only a few hundred left. However, it's very possible that many people have Amerindian heritage passed down on their line of ancestry on the islands. As a former British colony, of course English is the official language. However, they speak with a distinct Antiguan and Barbudan dialect. Many of the words...
That is true. I mean, I speak quite good English, I would say. I mean, I can understand people with different accents. I hope I can be understood myself. But some people in Antigua, I had to adapt to be able to understand what they were saying. So some people have less accent, but some people do have an accent which you need to train your ear to really understand what they are saying.
Words are abbreviated and slightly changed based off of the words that they derive from. For example, I will make we go on there. Ta, man, I think you're being serious. The vast majority of people live on the island of Antigua, with only about 2,000 people living on Barbuda.
Also about Barbuda, another thing. So in 2017, the Hurricane Irma destroyed a lot of the island. Maybe I've read something about it. Maybe I've heard somewhere. But around 90% of all homes in Barbuda were destroyed by this hurricane. And so I visited, so it was 2023 already, so I visited it like two weeks ago, and it's still visible. It's still visible that they are still struggling to rebuild the island. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but a lot of people who escaped afterward during the hurricane, they never came back. A lot of people returned, of course, because, well, it's their home, so they want to rebuild the island. But a lot stayed and never come back. So they have basic infrastructure, so they have a hospital, they have school, they have police station, but unfortunately it's still visible that the island was really, it suffered a lot of destruction. One thing that catches your eye is when you drive through the island, there are a lot of donkeys, and they do not belong to anyone. They are just wild donkeys that are just strolling along the island. Yeah, they are very, very cute, but locals say that actually, they are cute, but they also, they do tend to spoil crops. But by the way, donkeys are not only in Barbuda, they can be seen in Antigua as well, and in Antigua there is a donkey sanctuary as well. And so some locals call donkeys their local BMWs. Some other locals call them the police. Why? Because they are freely going, strolling through the island, so they are on the roads. They are like local police because people seeing them reduce the speed that they are driving. Yeah.
What Barbuda lacks in people, though, it definitely makes up in tourism, as every single day tons and tons of people flock to that area to check out some of the most amazing beaches and tourism sites that it offers. So that's what the people look like in Antigua and Barbuda. Now let's talk about the people that they get along with in the friend zone. Now, when it comes to friends, Antigua and Barbuda pretty much get along with everybody. They don't have any international disputes. However, the countries that stick out the most are probably going to be the US and the UK and Venezuela. The US and UK because they have the largest economic holding on Antigua and Barbuda, and Venezuela because they are a huge business partner.
About the US, there are a lot of tourists from the US in Antigua, and as was mentioned, every day a lot of tourists arrive in Antigua by cruise ships mainly. Well, of course, by planes as well, but cruise ships are a big addition to numbers of tourists in Antigua. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that the majority of them are from the US. I met people from Europe as well and from Canada too, so not only the USA. But the thing is that, so the local currency in Antigua and Barbuda is Eastern Caribbean dollar. And I think this is the currency of other Caribbean countries as well. But you can also pay for any stuff in US dollars. In some shops, they even have double prices. So one price is in the EC, which is Eastern Caribbean dollar, and another is US, which is US dollar.
As a member of CARICOM, or the Caribbean Community, Antigua and Barbuda pretty much gets along with all the other nations of the Caribbean, and especially, most distinctively, the ones that speak English, like Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, Dominica. However, in terms of their best friend, Antigua and Barbuda might probably consider St. Kitts and Nevis their best friend, considering the fact that they are like the four brothers that have gone through all of the British colonization period together, stuck by each other, and they just get along really well. Plus, there's only about 40 nautical miles between them. They do like to compete a lot with each other, though. In conclusion, Antigua and Barbuda are two powerhouse islands, voted as the best place to have a wedding in 2014. It's no surprise that Antigua and Barbuda are the gems that stand out in the Caribbean. Stay tuned, peeps. Armenia is coming up next.
That's not Armenia. That's Argentina. Ah, yeah. There is a... All right, so yeah, a nice video, especially to people that don't know anything about the country. That's a good video. As for my impressions of the country, so I really enjoyed the country. It's so beautiful. It's both Antigua and Barbuda have amazing beaches, and those people who love swimming, yeah, they would love to be there. They would enjoy their time in the country. I did as well, although I'm not a fan of such weather. Still, there is a lot to do, a lot to see, and I would strongly recommend to visit the country. Thank you for watching my reaction. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh yeah, and I wanted to mention that I did make my own videos. I recorded some videos when I was in Antigua and Barbuda, and I hope that in the nearest future I will be able to compile them and upload them too. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you all for watching, and see you. Bye.